Anyone there?
What if the next nightmare isn't hiding in your closet, but streaming right in your living room? Tonight, we're crawling through Prime Video's darkest corners, psychological horror that twists the mind, supernatural thrillers dripping with dread, and cult classic horror that refuses to fade away. Some will rattle your nerves. Some might haunt your dreams long after the credits roll. Follow me so you don't miss the next nightmare list. Number 10. The Manor, 2021. Aging is already terrifying, but when your nursing home turns into a supernatural thriller, the horror feels endless. Safety fades, and shadows feed.
Distinguish between what's real and what's a dream. That's a sign of dementia.
The Manor traps Judith, a once graceful dancer, inside a facility that feels more like a cage than a refuge. At night, something moves in the shadows, long fingers brushing ceilings, moans echoing through sterile corridors. The dread here isn't just the ghostly presence. It's the fragility of age itself, the fear of being helpless, ignored, and devoured. Watching Barbara Hershey sell both dignity and terror is heartbreaking. Honestly, I squirmed at the thought of being trapped in that bed, unable to run as shadows close in. For me, this is a 7.6 out of 10, an eerie supernatural thriller steeped in mortality. Watch it alone at midnight, and you'll wonder if the whispers down the hall belong to patients or predators. Next, revenge takes form, headless, merciless.
Anyone there?
Number 9. Ivana, 2019. A headless ghost doesn't forgive or forget. This supernatural thriller twists colonial scars into curses that never rest. Ivana doesn't just give you a ghost, it gives you history clawing back with vengeance. Two siblings return to their ancestral home, only to find themselves stalked by the spirit of Ivana, a woman murdered centuries ago and left headless. Her presence is brutal, footsteps pounding hallways, a figure dragging itself through doorways, crimson soaking the floor. What's chilling isn't just the gore, it's the inevitability. Ivana isn't random, she's justice incarnate, a curse carved into bloodlines. And when that headless form lurches closer, neck torn and gaping, you feel the weight of every scream before. For me, this lands at 7.9 out of 10, relentless and culturally raw. If supernatural thriller stories rooted in vengeance intrigue you, this one hits hard. But next, music itself becomes a weapon. Number 8. Nocturne, 2020. Twin sisters, a cursed notebook, and a descent into psychological horror where music whispers destruction.
Not even your sister.
Nocturne takes the stage in a conservatory filled with ambition, envy, and unspoken dread. Juliet, forever the lesser twin, stumbles upon a notebook filled with eerie sketches and cryptic notes. When she begins playing from it, her performances sharpen, but so does her obsession. Practice rooms become prisons, every piano key echoing like a death knell. What unsettles most isn't just the occult edge, it's the unraveling of self. Watching Juliet's reflection twist and linger longer than it should gave me goosebumps. Honestly, I felt her desperation, and it hurt. For me, this earns an 8.1 out of 10, a sharp, tragic psychological horror that crescendos to devastation. Anyone who's ever felt second best will find it haunting. But next, horror swaps music for tapes of unspeakable cruelty. Number 7. The Poughkeepsie Tapes, 2007. An abandoned house, hundreds of tapes, and psychological horror so raw you'll wish you hadn't pressed play.
Today,
The Poughkeepsie Tapes isn't a movie, it's a wound. FBI agents uncover hundreds of videotapes in a deserted home, documenting years of kidnappings and torture by a faceless killer. And you watch the world through his camera. Victims beg, plead, break, captured and shaky. Too real footage that leaves you nauseous. There's almost no gore, yet it feels unbearable, because the realism is suffocating. I'll admit, I paused more than once, wishing I hadn't started. It's not about jump scares. It's about contamination, the idea that you've seen something you can't unsee. For me, this is an 8.4 out of 10, psychological horror at its most invasive. Not entertaining, but unforgettable. Next, grief drowns a girl's family, but the lake refuses to let her rest. Number 6. Lake Mungo, 2008. She drowned, but maybe she never left. This supernatural thriller haunts with grief more than ghosts.
We checked the tapes.
There was a ghost in our house.
Lake Mungo plays out like a chilling documentary. Alice, a teenager, drowns during a family trip. But soon, blurry photos and eerie home videos suggest her presence lingers. Shadows at windows, a figure standing where no one should be. What makes Lake Mungo devastating isn't cheap scares. It's grief pressed so tight it suffocates. And then, the reveal. A single image that redefines everything. And I swear I felt my chest tighten. Honestly, it haunted me for nights. For me, this is an 8.6 out of 10. A supernatural thriller that proves restraint can be more terrifying than spectacle. Watch it with the lights off, and silence will never feel the same again. Next, horror throws subtlety away, blood and obsession cross international borders. Number 5. Killers, 2014. Murder as entertainment, a journalist drawn into darkness, and a game so twisted it breaks borders. Killers is as stylish as it is sick. In Tokyo, a businessman records brutal murders, uploading them for twisted consumption. Instead of recoil, a Jakarta journalist becomes captivated and slowly pulled into the darkness himself. What starts as exposure warps into obsession, until predator and audience blur. Watching these mirrored descents is both fascinating and horrifying, and the film doesn't flinch. It dares you to look at your own fascination with violence. Honestly, I felt complicit just watching. For me, this is an 8.0 out of 10, bloody, slick, and corrosive to the core. A brutal exploration of how far curiosity can rot. Next, horror turns reflective. Literally, with a cursed mirror that bends reality until nothing is trustworthy. Number 4. Oculus, 2013. A cursed mirror. A ruined family. Psychological horror warped by supernatural trickery. Oculus weapon Isesh memory itself. Kaylee and Tim return to destroy the Lasser glass, a mirror they believed destroyed their family. But the second they confront it, reality fractures, hallways stretch, fruit rots in seconds, and their own reflections betray them. You're never sure what's real. And that's the true horror. The mirror doesn't just kill. It rewrites perception. Honestly, I found myself doubting my own eyes halfway through. The jump scares are secondary to the slow mental erosion. For me, this earns an 8.2 out of 10, psychological horror sharpened by supernatural edges. It's cruel, surreal, and unforgettable. But next, time itself refuses to move forward, trapping souls in loops that never end. Number 3. The Endless, 2017. Two brothers return to the cult they escaped, only to find time itself caught in a cosmic loop.
If you let it control you, it's gonna control you over and over again.
We're all stuck in these things!
We couldn't be happier.
There's something out here, isn't there?
The Endless creeps up slowly, then swallows you whole. Brothers Justin and Aaron visit their old cult, expecting lunacy, but instead find impossible phenomena. Days repeat, time bends, camps trapped in eternal loops, reliving horrors forever. The cult isn't delusional, they're prisoners of something far greater, something cosmic. What terrifies here isn't gore, it's inevitability, the sense that eternity itself is a cage. And when the sky bends, when loops snap shut, you feel the weight of infinity pressing down. Honestly, I had chills that lasted hours. For me, this is an 8.5 out of 10, cosmic dread blended with psychological horror. Unforgettable in its subtlety. But next, horror rips subtlety apart with a door that should never have opened. Number 2. The Forbidden Door, 2009. Some doors should never be opened. This psychological horror rips apart art, family, and sanity itself. The Forbidden Door drags you into Gambir's world, a sculptor praised for his work, but hiding unspeakable secrets. When he discovers a hidden door in his home, curiosity shatters into terror. What lies beyond isn't just grotesque, it's the truth he's been burying under layers of clay and lies. The imagery is violent, yes, but it's the moral decay that makes your stomach twist. Every step through that door feels like falling deeper into corruption you can't scrub off. Honestly, it's one of the few films that made me mutter, "Nope," out loud. For me, it's a 9.0 out of 10, claustrophobic, suffocating psychological horror at its sharpest. Next, the countdown ends in paranoia, confinement, and a bunker you'll never forget. Number 110, Cloverfield Lane, 2016. You wake up underground, two strangers say the world has ended. But the real horror? You're not sure if they're saving you, or trapping you. Cloverfield Lane is a masterclass in paranoia. Michelle wakes after a car crash, locked inside a bunker with Howard, who claims the outside world is destroyed. But every glance, every silence, every burst of rage makes you question, who's the real danger? The claustrophobia is suffocating, meals feel like interrogations, and John Goodman delivers one of the most chilling performances in horror. And then, the reveal changes everything. But by then, you're already broken. Honestly, I was tense from start to finish, barely breathing during the final act. For me, this is a 9.2 out of 10, tight, unrelenting psychological horror that lingers. If confined spaces terrify you, this will wreck you. And with that, our nightmare list closes. From cursed mirrors to cosmic cults, from psychological horror that claws at your sanity to supernatural thrillers whispering in the dark, Prime Video in 2025 is stacked with nightmares. These films don't just scare, they stay. Which one rattled you the most? Dare to comment below. And follow me so you never miss the next horror deep dive.